is the Tata Nexon, which is one of the best sellers in the segment because this car has a lot going for it. This though is the Nexon Dark, which is basically a blackened out version of the Nexon. That means it is obviously finished in black, the interior is all black, the alloy wheels are also black, it gets dark badging on the side fenders and also #dark on the headrests. And for around rupees 40,000 more than the regular Nexon, the Nexon Dark definitely looks quite cool. But is the Nexon all about style over substance? Not really, because this car has a lot going for it. But in today's video, I'm going to be telling you 4 pros and 4 cons of this car. But before we start, let me show you this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve One Snowfall. It's delightfully different and fascinating. It has this cool, nice menthol type cool breezy whiff. Yeah, it gives you that coolness, it gives you that refreshing feel, and the best thing, it's super easy to regulate. Yeah, you can regulate it like that. It does not leak at all, and you can get yours with a 10% discount using coupon code FASTBEAM. Click somewhere on the screen right now. Let's start this pros and cons of the Nexon. Starting with the first con, and one of the major reasons which deter people from buying a Tata car, including me, is the inconsistency in quality. Let me show you around. Fit finish is so poor that if you notice this particular panel, there is no gap here at all. Now, if you come to the other side, there is a gap right here. I mean, what kind of fit finish is this? And it gets even worse when you come to the rear. Faisal Khan's fingers of truth trying to get inside here. See, there is absolutely no space for me to put my finger inside here on the right side. But when I come to the left side, I can easily squeeze my finger past inside because the gap here is significantly more than what is there on the right side. It's absolutely baffling.
Still look fabulous.
So panel gaps are abundant, but some of them you can see without even trying to notice. That is the level of poor quality on this car, which is not only shocking, it's beyond me how Tata Motors can offer such a product to the customer. Then there are these dual 10.25 inch screens, which are actually quite high resolution, gives you a lot of information, but at times they hang. And they do hang quite a lot, not only in the Nexon, but also in the Harrier, also in the Safari. So yes, Tata Motors really needs to work on the screens, because what is the point of all that resolution if the screens do hang very randomly? A top secret, if Tata Motors is able to address the quality of their cars, they're going to be unbeatable. But quality is not something by chance, it's a habit, and it's going to take Tata Motors quite a lot of time to make sure their cars are not prone to quality issues. The second con, of course, is the engine. Yeah, it just does not have the punch. Quite a lot of wheel spin in the diesel, in spite of the fact that ESP is on right now. I don't think you can turn it off, but still this car has a lot of punch, the diesel, which makes it the choice of engine for me personally, especially the manual, because the AMTs are lackluster. That said, the petrol engine is by far, how do I say it actually, by being politically correct, the petrol engine is just not exciting. It's not fast, it's not sporty, it's not very refined either. All of the rivals offer a better petrol engine. I'm driving the diesel, which is definitely way better than the petrol because there is good amount of grunt. Yeah, mid-range grunt is actually quite nice here. But the problem is there is turbo lag, and then doesn't have a top end either. The engine gets quite vocal as well. But between the petrol and the diesel is the one to buy. That said, the petrol engine is quite lackluster, to be honest, because it does not have the performance you would expect with 120 horsepower on board. And secondly, the gearbox isn't that impressive because, like I told you, the manual is okay, it's the better option actually, but long throws. Meanwhile, क्या कर रहा है भाई, किधर जा रहा है? The third con is the weird cost cutting and ergonomics of the Nexon. Yes, I'm fusing two negatives into one point because otherwise you will call me a Tata hater, which I am not. I love Tata cars. Stop lying! But I'm not doing justice to my job if I'm not pointing out all the flaws of this car. And the biggest flaw which I find while driving this car are the ergonomics. The steering is just too close to the chest. I don't know why. The clutch is too springy in action. And with the manual, the gearbox has really long throws as well. The button for the ventilated seats is out of sight, which makes it cumbersome to actually know what speed is the ventilated seats operating at, and I really don't understand why they did not put it on the center console. That actually brings me to another problem with the center console. The center console does not have a single cubby hole. Where do you put your bottle? Well, definitely not in the center console. I don't know why the switch for drive selector is so big. Yeah, that rotary dial is just it's just unnecessary. It could have been smaller and easier to use as well. And there's absolutely no space for your phone other than the fact that you can put on the wireless charging pad when your phone will start charging and start getting heated up as well. So yeah, the center console needs to be designed better. In fact, there's some storage below the front center armrest, which is also quite small. So yeah, storage space not well thought out in the Nexon. By the way, it also misses out on rear disc brakes. And when it comes to cost cutting, they have not given a request sensor on the left side door, that is the co-passenger door, something which M&M offers. I'm not talking about those gems, I'm talking about Mahindra and Maruti. They offer a request sensor on the left side. Hyundai does not do that, so Hyundai also does cost cutting in that regard. But that's something which should be there, right? They've also offered just 2 parking sensors at the front and rear respectively instead of 4. And the center passenger does not get a head. Yeah, there is no center headrest at the rear, which is quite surprising considering Tata Motors emphasizes so much on safety. By the way, this car has got a Chintu Mintu sunroof, but at least that works with voice command.
Say a command.
Open sunroof.
Sure. Opening.
However, that is not the problem. The bigger problem is that this car does not get ADAS, not even as an option, something which has been offered by its rivals. So at this price point, I definitely expect level 1 ADAS. Come on, Tata Motors, you can do it. While we are at the topic of cost cutting, I just realized that the sunroof's blind does not have proper cutting on both the sides. So on one side, it is so badly cut that you can actually see the sunroof's glass from there. So yeah, again, a lot of inconsistencies here and there. And it has a very cool feature known as, listen to this, okay? She's going to explain.
Express cooling is on.
So earlier what used to happen with express cooling?
Express cooling off.
It used to roll
Normal
down.
cooling mode
Okay,
on.
let me talk please. It used to roll down the driver window so that hot air could go outside. It no longer does it. I don't know why. By the way, this panel on the steering wheel is prone to fingerprints because it's obviously piano black and it's never aligned. I've seen it in so many Tata cars, it just does not align properly. The fourth con is Tata Motors sales and after sales service experience isn't even close to being as good as Maruti, Honda, Hyundai or Toyota. Yes, Tata Motors really needs to work on the service experience, especially when the cars are being loaded with so many features, because if things go wrong, the dealership is not able to fix it. Yeah, the service center is still not trained enough to fix such issues, and that causes even more frustration to the customer. But thankfully, this car has a lot of positives going for it. So let's start with the first pro of the Tata Nexon. And the first pro and one of the major reasons to buy the Nexon are the features. This car is loaded with a ton of them. Right from welcome and goodbye animations both at the front and rear, yeah, they look super cool at night. This car also gets a 9-speaker JBL sound system, umbrella holders in the front doors, keyless entry, push button start, wireless charging pad, sunroof, climate control air conditioning system, dual 10.25-inch screens which are actually high resolution as long as they work, 360-degree parking camera, blind view monitor for both the sides which is actually very helpful, ventilated front seats, connected car tech, and 6 airbags standard across the range. In fact, the quality of the wipers, they are also fantastic. In fact, it gets automatic wipers, it gets automatic headlights, and yes, it also gets ESP standard across the range. The second pro are the dynamics. This is a very fun car to drive and the steering has decent amount of feel as well. It weighs up, you don't have to correct it much, and then the ride is absolutely fantastic. It is a bit on the stiffer side, but it gobbles the worst of the roads in its stride without much hesitation. Look at it go, big bump, no problem, and ho ho ho, it just does such a fantastic job. So high speed stability is good, steering is good, ride quality is good, and handling isn't too bad either because this car has body roll very well contained. So yeah, body movements are also quite restricted here. So it's actually a fun car to drive, especially if you're driving the diesel, and if you become a little bit more enthusiastic, then you can also do something like this. Yeah, you can take it over the worst of roads, no stress there at all. It doesn't just look rugged or doesn't just feel like a tank, it actually drives like one as well, and that is the beauty of the Tata Nexon. Look at the road, no problem at all, yeah. I am so impressed. The brakes could be better though. You know why? I'll show it to you. Here we go again. Brake test. It makes too much sound. It just makes too much sound. I was holding on to dear life thinking that I will go ahead, but obviously there's the seat belt here to protect me. The third pro is the build quality of this car. It feels very solid. It kind of feels like it is built like a tank. Look at that. I mean, hear that. It feels so reassuring. The doors close with a proper thud. This has Desh Ka Loha in it, and it is also very safe. The fourth pro is the variant mix. There seems to be a Nexon for almost everyone out there because this car is available in 96 variants. I don't even understand how Tata Motors manages inventory with this car, because whoever does it Kudos to that person. 96 variants of this car is on freaking believable. The price range starts at rupees 9.6 lakhs for the base variant, going all the way to 19.08 lakhs. Yeah, all the prices are on road Mumbai. So yes, it gets quite expensive on the top end, but then it kind of justifies it with a lot of features. However, you can actually get a bigger segment car or the next segment car for the price of a top end Nexon. Yeah, the Honda Elevate is priced similarly for the top end models, because yeah, 19 lakhs for a Nexon is a lot of money. Now, if you don't like this car in terms of how the engines perform, because I honestly am not a fan of the performance of the Nexon, then there's the Nexon EV as well, and there are 10 variants for the same. The Nexon EV's powertrain is way better. The performance is just way better. I never thought I would say that an electric car is better, but that's the reason why the Nexon EV is the segment leader, because it's a fantastic car. With all the features in this car, the Nexon is actually... मैं भूल गया क्या बोलूँ मैं भूल गया. Basically, I want to say that you can opt for... फिर भूल गया. Basically, I'm trying to say that there's so many variants of the Nexon, it will create confusion, but at least Tata Motors is giving so much variety out there, which is amazing. There are 4 engine options for the petrol. 4! Yeah, who gives... Sorry, what am I saying? There are 4 gearbox options for the petrol. There's a 5-speed manual. I don't know why they do the 5-speed manual, but the low variants get a 5-speed manual. Then, as the variant price increases, you get the 6-speed manual. Then there's an automatic, which is an AMT. There's a dual clutch automatic, which doesn't feel like a dual clutch. Why are there so many gearbox options? The Tata Nexon has a lot of positives going for it, and that's the reason it sells in such good numbers. Tata Motors should address the small issues, and when they do that, this car would be difficult to beat in the segment, and that's how Tata Motors can take the fight to the Koreans. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and let me know in the comment section below, if you had to buy a compact jacked up hatchback at around rupees 15 lakhs, which one would you do? Bye bye. चलो मैं चलता हूँ. मेरा काम हो गया खत्म. Pack up. Oh, by the way, involves snowfall. खरीद लो. Link is somewhere there. 10% discount. Amazing. So refreshing. Bye.